But I'm going to start this morning with this absolute nonsense by Simone Biles, former Olympian, who has 11 medals, 7 of which are gold. She came out last night, and Riley Gaines, for those of you who are not familiar, as you can see on the screen there in the blue top with the Kentucky on it, was a top swimmer in the country a couple of years ago. And the person next to her is a male who changed their name to Leah Thomas and began performing in women's sports. It's probably the most polarized incident of this, and Riley became a spokesperson against things like this, against this very I don't even know how to describe it. This is a male participating in female sports. This is a topic I've stayed away for a long time, but after last night, I just decided I can't do that anymore, and I'm sure I'll receive some hate. I don't really care. I was a longtime coach. I coached a lot of young people, and in my camps, I coached young girls, and even girls that were in 7th, 8th, 9th, and even 10th grade. And to think that their dreams, that their aspirations could be destroyed, their security, their safety. I'll get into all of that in a moment. But I want to highlight this here because this is truly alarming. And I guess when you don't do what I do now, and you just live your life and you let a lot of things pass by, and maybe you don't get all the details of what actually goes on out there, what the pulse of the people is. But when you follow it as closely as I do now, and you hear how people actually think, and you hear what's being done out there and the damage that's being done. I'm not a father, and I know for a fact, if I had a daughter, I would be one of the most outspoken people about this in the world. I would gather people together and I would speak loudly about this. I don't know what I would do, and I feel for so many parents out there. If somebody wants to go do that type of stuff, I'm not here to judge somebody as far as what their choices in life are. I leave that for people that are a whole lot smarter than me. I just don't even want to go there. What I would say is, if you want to do something like that, then go create your own league. Go create your own sport. And then people that want to go compete in a co-ed format like that, have at it. That way, at least somebody knows what they're getting into. You cannot be a female your whole life. Work your ass off. And as a coach, I can tell you the work that people put in. This makes me upset, very, very upset. There's no fake to this. There's no clickbait to this. There's no rage bait to this. This is terrible on every level. Riley Gaines worked her whole life to get on that podium. And if Leah Thomas, a male, as you can see, domination in size there, strength, athleticism, all of it genetically is different than women, period. End of subject, period. And her dreams were ruined because of this. And you have Simone Biles come out yesterday and say this. Let me enlarge this so you can see this nonsense. She sends at Riley Gaines, you are truly sick. All of this campaigning because you lost a race. Straight up sore loser. You should be uplifting the trans community and perhaps finding a way to make sports inclusive, or creating a new avenue where trans feel safe in sports, maybe a transgender category in all sports, but instead you bully them. One thing's for sure is no one in sports is safe with you around. Really? No one is safe with her around. You must be kidding me. How about, and I'm gonna pop this in. When I found this out, I jumped in. We'll look to the left here at 9:40 p.m. when I first caught wind that this was going on. My comment, I didn't watch this. There was a video that Riley posted. I believe she was on Fox News. I didn't watch this because it's likely to make me sick. Everyone is entitled to an opinion, but how can one side think it's okay to turn a sport on its head by letting a male compete with 99.99% women and then allow that to be 2 men, 5 men, 20, 1,000, and so on. And then I bullet. Not only is it wrong, someone's going to die. There's a girl who has brain damage from a male that identifies as a female that spiked a volleyball into her head, and she has brain damage. So someone is going to die. Legitimately, someone's going to die. Women have no privacy. Their enjoyment of sport is being ripped away. We're just going to change all that because someone wants to change their sexual identity. Why is this being forced or allowed? Start your own league. As I said earlier, if biological women want to compete against biological males, let them. They know they're signing up for that, but don't inject the opposite sex into it. It's bullshit. Then I wake up at literally 3, you can't see it here, but it's about 3:30 in the morning. And I say further, I cannot believe what I'm reading. I'm going to go ahead and say it. You should be ashamed of yourself. This is directed at Simone Biles. Like she cares what I think, but there are a lot of people that share my opinion. In fact, tens and tens and tens of millions. This is leadership. This is representative of how someone acts that represents the United States. This is pretty simple. Something like this is bigger than someone's opinion. This is about someone's safety, someone's privacy, someone's dreams, someone's livelihood. You're good with all that, and then have the audacity to tell someone they're sick, all to side with someone who created the problem by deciding one day to change who they are. These are two different issues. If someone wants to do that in their life, change identity, who are we to say yay or nay? But to inject them into others' lives without any choices, I call BS. How about if someone walked up to you and took away your 11 medals, including 7 gold, and you couldn't do anything about it? You'd be irrelevant, and how would you like that? How about if a biological male came and undressed next to you in the locker room before an event? You'd be mortified. Oh, and one final thing. What if someone took away your right to withdraw from the 2020 Olympics because of those personal reasons? What an irresponsible comment. Maybe think before you speak or write. Again, everyone is entitled to their opinion. Everyone's entitled to believe what they want to believe. Everyone's entitled to support what they want to support. But how a gal, and then she makes fun of her size. It's not here, but then she makes fun of her size and says, "Why don't you go pick on somebody your own size?" Which would be a male. I think was, and I'm paraphrasing. Please, if I've missed it a little bit, I apologize. I believe that Riley Gaines is 5'5", 136 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. Simone Biles is 4'8", 104 pounds. So 5'5", 136 pounds, a female, athletic swimmer, competitive swimmer at a high level in college is somehow male size. Did you not see this guy tower over her? And has a big old coat on like that. You can't see the muscle definition. How do you think that's swimming through the lap pool or the Olympic pool? Absolutely, positively ridiculous. Let me show you something here as well. This is my basketball camp in 2015. You can see it's a pretty good turnout. You will see of the first 2 rows, basically. But you can see it on the right and the left, is mostly made up of young girls. There's a lot of young girls in there. And these girls are ranging in the 4th, 5th, 6th grade. There's a few that are older if you go back further in the 6th, 7th, 8th grade. So what is a young girl who wants to play basketball, because that's coming, who wants to play swimming, volleyball, any of those sports, has to think about, is there going to be a male that is allowed to compete in the sport that I wish to play, practice for, and dedicate huge chunks of time to my life, particularly if it's not just even recreational. There's a lot of people that take sports seriously and want to take it as far as they can go. That is not to suggest that they think they're going to be pros or anything, but maybe they want to go through the high school level. Maybe they want to go from high school and compete in college. And maybe it ends at that point. Whatever the case, why is that right being taken away from them? How can any one of these girls, and believe me, we took this very seriously. There's a lot of coaches on the left there, a lot of coaches on the right, If you look at the picture on the very on the left of the screen, all the way to the left, the first person sitting in the aisle, that's me. There's coaches lined up behind me. And then on the other side, on the other row, men and women coaches. Do you know how seriously we took that? Do you know that there was 2 separate locker rooms, one for boys and men and one for girls and ladies, period. Simone Biles, I wonder, and I don't know if you have any children. I know you're married to a Jonathan Owens, I believe, football player from the Washington Commanders. If you have a daughter, I wonder if a male comes into that bathroom and starts undressing, fully undressing, maybe naked next to your daughter, I wonder how you'd feel about that. I wonder if you'd feel the same, or if you're going to say, oh, let's separate it again and let's create a different bathroom or a different section, or they're going the stalls or whatever it is. This is about as an irresponsible statement as you can make to attack somebody like Riley Gaines, because she has become basically the world's leading spokesperson about this, because she lived it, because her dreams were ripped away, because her ability to stand at the pinnacle of that podium and win first place, she won second, was ripped away because a male competed against her. You can call this Leah Thompson or Thomas, whatever the hell you want. That's a male, biological male with genetics that can destroy most females. There's very rare instances and very rare cases where that wouldn't happen. Say, I don't have the scientific data in front of me, so please forgive me. But let's say 99% of males who want to convert over into a female are gonna dominate a female. How about the boxer who turned male and I believe obviously ripped away that girl's dreams of winning in the Olympics, and I believe there was some sort of stomach or kidney damage. Why does a girl have to go against a genetical male in boxing? And boxing is even another level. So like there's no physical nature in swimming on one athlete physically hitting another athlete. I got it. But boxing, how about the girl who was doing the fencing, and she went down to a knee to protest because it was a male under the mask? Where does it end? Where does it stop? Does somebody have to die for everybody? It seems like in our world today, it's like it just goes and goes. Anything goes until maybe somebody dies. And then there's enough people up in arms. And then suddenly something maybe comes to an end. Absolutely appalling. I am literally sick to my stomach about it. You know, again, I if I didn't do this, sports type of talk, and I probably wouldn't have an idea to the extent that this is happening. I mean, I'm a huge sports fan, but it probably wouldn't be on my radar as much. I might have kind of heard about it in the distance, but to follow this every day and get notifications about this stuff every day and help with content and things that I want to talk about. I mean, this is at the top of the list. It's viral. It's the number one topic on social media. I mean, this affects people at the youngest of ages and destroys dreams, destroys lives, privacy, security, safety, all of it. Parents, I don't blame you for being up in arms. I've seen it. I've seen people go up in front of school boards with their son or daughter and complain. I cannot imagine. I empathize with you. I feel for you on every level. This is absolutely positively disgusting. And I don't know what our world is coming to, that things like this, as if life can't be challenging enough, right? As if we do not have enough things to worry about in terms of, let's say, our children's safety, a boy or a girl, man or woman. There's so much in our world that we already have to concern ourselves with. How about they go to school, they get an education, they want to compete in the sport, and they can do both safely. Both are in jeopardy today. Literally, both are in jeopardy. Like, you can't even go to school a lot of places anymore and feel like you're safe and feel like you're getting the education you need. And then after school, or alongside of school, you want to compete in athletics and you got to deal with this BS. I mean, this is just absolutely so. Riley Gaines, keep up the good fight. I would